Facebook, hello. Facebook, hey, welcome. And YouTube, welcome to Wednesday workouts. Today we're going to be doing a short yoga workout focused on improving muscle activation. So before we start, I want to talk about, and this is going to be pretty cool, there are going to be some really useful tips in this video that I show you that you can immediately implement in your existing workouts if you're already doing yoga, and even if you're not doing yoga, you'll be able to apply these tips immediately. So stay tuned, you're going to want to see this. Now let's start off by talking about why you want improved muscle activation. So this is a topic that I think is making a lot of buzz right now. And the reason why muscle activation is so important, especially in today's situation for most people, is we spend most of our days sitting. We spend most of our day inactive. And you can't just go from sitting and being active and doing nothing to going to a workout. Your body just doesn't transition that quickly, and your body isn't going to use the muscles that you should be using during the workout. Instead, what it's going to do is default to using those muscles that you were using while sitting, which is basically your quadriceps, your lower back, and your chest. But we're not using the back at all here. We're not using, so by back I mean your upper back, the muscles that help with pulling your shoulder blades together. We're not using your hip flexors at all. We're not using your glutes. We're not using your abs. So there's a lot of muscles that aren't kind of in this workout party that we need them, and we need them to be there in order for you to work out and to be able to do the exercises. If you don't have those muscles involved, what's going to happen is you're going to be doing all the work with the muscles that you were using while being seated. So you're missing out on all the power from your glutes, from your core, from your upper back. And what that's going to do to your body is put on a weekly basis. And so I'm coming up with a list of exercises now and kind of testing this out myself. This is based on all of my experience with yoga, but also with integrating yoga with all my other workouts. So make sure you're checking social media for all of that. All right, cool. So I'm going to go back to what I was talking about before. So number one reason why you want to work on muscle activation is because it helps with transitioning from being inactive during the day to going to your workout. Number two, and this is a really simple reason, the more muscle fibers you can engage when exercising, the more power, the more strength, the more endurance, basically the better the workout you can have. And the way to do that is by focusing on muscle activation, by taking a few minutes to actually focus on squeezing that muscle and getting as much of that muscle to engage as possible. And one way to do that I found extremely effective is through yoga. So let's get to it. I'm going to show you how you can use yoga to improve muscle activation. And to start, we're just going to do a very simple lunge. All right, so let's go right leg forward, left leg back, relax your left knee toward the ground. And this is what you want. So if you've been watching the video since we start, this is where it starts. This is where I'm going to show you how all this stuff works. Now, most people, when they go into a lunge, right, they get relaxed here, right? Maybe they just put the hand on the thigh, they lean forward. Okay, that's a nice stretch through my hip. Good, but there's a lot more that we could be getting out of this. So instead of what I just showed you, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have you drive down through your right heel as hard as you possibly can. You want to push down so hard that at any split second you'd be able to stand right up and stand up all the way. All right, so that's what we want to do with the front leg, pushing down through that front foot, making sure that the heel is pressing down, the big toe is pressing down, and that's going to engage your hips. This is going to work on muscle activation in your glutes in particular. We're also working on the vastus medialis, the VMO, and we're working on your hamstrings as well. All muscles that you don't often use when you are sitting. So that's the first part. Second part is, instead of dropping your weight into your left knee, like a lot of people will do in a lunge, you're going to put most of the weight in your right leg, and your left knee can actually kind of hover a little bit here. Right? You don't need to hover it too long because that's really tiring, but you can hover it in the sense that you're not resting tons of weight onto your left knee. You're going to tuck the back toes and then keep that left knee somewhat hovering, and then put the weight in the right leg instead. So now I've got this really powerful lunge. I can stand up at any moment from this lunge, and I'm working on glute activation in addition to stretching the hip. All right, so let's do the other side, but that's just one super quick example. So now left foot forward, let's go right leg back. Again, my right knee here, I'm not gonna just dump my weight into my right leg and relax there. I wanna lift the right knee at first, shift my weight into my left hip, pushing down through my left heel, pushing down through the big toe, feeling my left glute, my butt, engage, and then slowly relaxing that right knee just to hover, just to barely touch the ground, but again, keeping that weight in the left side. One other thing I can do here is squeeze the legs toward one another. So I'm going to squeeze my right leg forward, squeeze my left heel back, and again, I want to feel like at any moment I can just stand up or I can do some sort of athletic movement from this position. So instead of just being passive, instead of just relaxing forward into this like a passive lunge, I'm going to stay really active here and work on building muscle engagement, building strength in this position. Another way we're going to do this. Let's go into a warrior two position. So we'll start off in a wide-legged forward fold stance, so just wide stance. Turn your right leg out, and now bend into your right knee. Now, many people might end right here with warrior two, right? We've got the shoulders on top of the hips. So you can see spinal alignment here. We've got the shoulders on top of the hips. My spine is neutral, right? My butt isn't going out behind me. So if you view me from the side, my butt isn't going to be out here like this. It's not to the back. It's right under my torso. Now, this might be as far as most people go and do a warrior two. Knee over the ankle. Good. Back leg is straight. Again, spine neutral. But there's a way to make this more effective. So we're going to focus on pushing down really hard through your right heel and shifting the weight into your right hip. Again, so instead of allowing your left leg to do a lot of the work, we're going to shift toward the right heel, pushing down to the right heel so that you feel the right glute engaging. So I'm building glute activation here with a proper external rotation, right? So in my warrior two, I'm getting my glutes engaged because my right hip, in this case my front leg, is turning out. It's opening up, which is also what causes the groin stretch. But here, I'm focusing on driving down to the heel. I'm squeezing my right glute as much as I possibly can, instead of just sinking into the knee, getting the knee over the ankle, and going up like this. That's going to do a good job to engage your vastus medialis and the quadriceps, but you really need to focus in order to engage the hips and really focus to engage the glutes. All right, let's switch sides, try it again. So now left foot is forward, keeping my hips squared out to the sides, bending into my left knee. And again, here's where it starts. Pushing down hard through my left heel and through the big toe so that I feel the weight in my left hip. Okay, so I'm feeling my left glute engage here. Not just the quadricep, but actually my butt, right? The left glute here. Spine stays neutral. And here's another really cool thing about this. The more you engage one muscle, the more the opposing muscle group stretches. So while I'm engaging my glutes, right, while I'm engaging my left external hip rotators, I'm actually stretching my inner groin, right, my inner thigh more because I'm engaging that muscle more, the opposing muscle group more. So in addition to building strength and muscle activation, you're actually going to get a better stretch and get more mobility in the opposing muscle groups. So that's really cool about this way of doing yoga. Again, weight sinking into my left heel, pressing down hard, not just sinking down, but pushing down and feeling like I could lift up. You still good? Okay, cool. All right, so there's warrior two. Another one, we're going to focus on this is called a standing, I just call this a standing one leg balance. So what we're going to do is stand on one leg and bring your left knee up to hip level. Now, if you've seen my workouts before, if you're already a member of the members area, you know this one. We do this all the time. The reason why this is so beneficial, though, is because it's very active. It's not passive. So obviously, we're going to push down hard through the right foot. We want to squeeze your right glute, right? The whole standing leg is totally engaged. But also, I want you to push your left hand into your left thigh and push your left thigh back up into your hand. Now, this is going to improve muscle activation in your hip flexors. A lot of people can't hold this for more than a few seconds because their hip flexors just don't have the strength or endurance. So instead of just standing with my leg up here like this, I'm actually driving my hand into my thigh, pushing the thigh back into my hand, and building that hip flexor strength. Now to add another level to this, extend one leg forward, hold here. All right, so we're bringing this left leg up as high as possible, keeping the right leg straight, keeping the spine neutral, maybe bringing the arms up as well. So this is one really good way to build strength in the hip. Let's do it on the other side to keep it balanced. So bouncing on my left leg now, bringing the right leg out, just so you can see a different angle. Right leg going straight out, pushing down through my left foot, whole left thigh is engaged, glute is engaged. I'm using my strength in my right hip to lift my right leg up as much as possible. Not just the quadricep, but actually using my hip flexor to lift that up. And if you look at me from the side here, I'm not bending forward, I'm not arching my back, I'm staying really neutral here. And this is really important because we rarely use these muscles in our hips. Even if you're doing big lifts like deadlifts and squats, most of us tend to use the quadriceps and don't really use these other muscles, which are actually a lot stronger than your quadriceps, and they're important to use to prevent pain in your back, to prevent knee injury, to prevent knee pain, and they're gonna make you perform better as well. So you can do all of those poses for 30 to 60 seconds. They're all going to help. But the important thing to remember is that as you're doing these postures, you want to focus on the muscle engagement. It doesn't just automatically happen. You have to focus on it. And so if you're looking for more stuff like this, by the way, I wanted to mention, I'm doing a muscle activation and an improved performance yoga workshop in New York City on April 21st. The workshop is called the Yoga X Strength Factor. And what I mean by that is how yoga is uniquely situated to build strength, to build performance when compared to other types of fitness. So this is that kind of special something that I think yoga is so good at for improving your fitness. And we're going to be talking about stuff like this, improved muscle activation. We're going to be talking about building strength and end range of motion. Instead of just going to end range of motion passively, we're going to talk about actually building strength and end range of motion. We're going to talk about how you can maximize your recovery, how to focus on active range of motion rather than passive range of motion. So this is just a few of the things we're going to be covering at this 90-minute workshop in New York City. And if you can't come to the workshop, if you want to learn about the workshop, go to manfulyoga.com/blog. It'll be the latest blog in our blog section. And then if you can't come to the workshop or you just don't want to come to the workshop, this is the kind of stuff that I teach in all of my workouts. So you've probably seen some stuff on YouTube, maybe some stuff here on maybe on Facebook, maybe on Instagram. But if you're looking for more workouts and you really want to learn this stuff and really want to learn how to improve your performance and your fitness with yoga, all of my workouts and my programs are in my members area. And this currently has over 200 workouts, 200 full-length workouts, anywhere from 6 minutes up to 80 minutes long. We've got programs for all levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced, 7 days per week, 2 days per week, 3 days per week. And then you can filter all of these workouts by difficulty, by intensity, by skill level, and length, and even fitness focus and physical focus. So if you want to work on flexibility for your hips, you can easily do that. But anyways, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about how yoga can improve muscle activation. If you're in New York, I'd love to see you on April 21st. And if you're looking for more workouts like this to improve your performance, get everything on my website at manfulyoga.com. Edward, do you have any questions before I sign off? I just want to make sure that if there's anybody with any questions, then I'll answer them. All right, cool. So if you're watching this and it's not live anymore, please leave a comment, even if it's what today is Wednesday, even if it's Friday, please leave a comment. I'll get to it, I'll respond to it. If you have any questions, just ask them and I'll respond to it as